Hey everybody, welcome to the Deep Focus Show. I'm Aiden,
Max.
I'm Clay.
and this is another installment of the 50s movies series. And the film this time is Billy Wilder's Witness for the Prosecution, which came out in 1957, and a classic kind of courtroom drama based on the Agatha Christie play. Yeah, before we get into our general reviews. Do you guys have any like kind of preliminary stuff you want to say about the movie?
I'll just say that I have all, this is the second courtroom drama of the 50s that I've seen. I'd love to see more.
A very big genre around this time, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now, I had seen this movie before actually, but it had been like many years. So, there were definitely elements of it that I think are the most memorable elements of the movie that I remembered very clearly. But it was nice to go back and watch it again and see that, I still felt the same way about it.
Yeah, I agree. I guess I'll get into my review now. I'm gonna keep it spoiler free because there's a lot of crazy stuff happening in this movie by the last chunk. Very lot of things you don't expect. So basically, I mean, I think that the movie does an excellent job of laying out the information about the case very well. I think the characters are all very well sketched. It's a little bit, it's not, I mean, it feels kind of more like a Hitchcock movie or something than something Wilder would do. But, I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think it's a great movie. I think that it does an excellent job at keeping all of the courtroom scenes very exciting. You know, courtroom movies are a great genre, but sometimes they can be bogged down in like making everything exposition. And I think this movie really does an excellent job of avoiding that because it has so much character in terms of it has the subplot about the titular or not titular it's not called Wilfred, it's but the main barrister having like his health problems, and you have the central case which is very interesting. So this is one of my favorite movies really ever. If I sound unenthused, it's just because I'm sick. This is an amazing movie. It's one of my favorites. I think that it's impacted the way I would like to write movies because I think one of the boldest things in the film is that the first 40 minutes is essentially just one very long exposition scene in his chambers, but somehow it's not dull at all. Somehow it's interesting throughout, which is very impressive from like a writing perspective. It's very clean writing in the sense of like most of Wilder's movies, there's everything will pay off if you pay attention, and it rewards you for investing, like the setup with the monocle. And then there was something I only picked up on the most recent time I watched it, a subtle detail that like foreshadows the end right before it happens. I don't want to give it away, but it's a movie that rewards you for repeat viewings, and those are really some of the best kinds of movies. And I'd also put movies like from Wilder, like The Apartment, and like Some Like It Hot in that category. So yeah, 5 stars for me. It's one of my favorite movies. It's definitely had a big impact on me in terms of the type of movies that I really love. So yeah, really a big fan of this one.
I also really love this film. I mean, I'm sure I have many of the same things to say that you did. It's like we watched Dial M for Murder a while ago, and that's also, a story that, doesn't take place in a lot of locations. It's based on a play. And I think it's like it's so much more obvious in that movie than in this movie. Like you can kind of tell like there are little traces of it, like the first act just taking place in his house, basically, but it's a lot of times movies based on plays can feel like really stagey, and this doesn't. This feels like very alive, and exciting. And I will say, I'm not going to say what the twist is, but I think it's masterfully done. Um, I actually going into the film knowing what it was, I was like wondering like, is this going to change the way I view the movie? You know, is it going to be like really obvious this time knowing what I know? And it wasn't because it's handled so well. I mean, the acting in here I think is really good. I mean, Charles Lawton uh directed, my favorite movie of all time, Night of the Hunter. So maybe I wish he'd done more directing in his career, as opposed to focusing entirely on acting. But he was a really wonderful actor as well. And Elsa Lanchester, and this is really good in the sense that she's supposed to be incredibly annoying, and she is. And she was, married to Charles Lawton at the time they made this, which is, kind of funny considering that, her role is basically to like lovingly antagonize him the entire time. Tyrone Power, I'm not as much of a fan of. I think he's a little I don't know. When people talk about older acting styles in like the 50s and stuff, they say like, oh, it was different because they were stage actors and blah 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 and all that stuff, and that's why they weren't like supernatural. Not supernatural, but like not like fucking ghosts. Never mind. I'm just gonna keep talking. But I was gonna say I don't really think that's true, and I've never felt like that's true. That there was like an older style of film acting, and then later on you get like Brando, and you get this more naturalistic style. I don't think so. Like if you look at the great actors of this time, they are more naturalistic. Like you look at like Jimmy Stewart, you look at like Humphrey Bogart, you look at Spencer Tracy, they're not doing these like super like kind of like stagey, overemphasized performances. So I think that's crap. But other than that, the acting is wonderful. Marlene Dietrich in this, I think her not getting nominated for an Oscar is literally one of the biggest snubs in the history of the Academy Awards. And not only should she have gotten nominated, she should have won. And Una O'Connor in this. I was really happy to see her because I forgot she was in this, and she's like one of my favorite character actresses. I mean, I mostly know her from Invisible Man and Bride of Frankenstein, but yeah, her especially in Bride of Frankenstein. I mean, basically all she does in every movie is like get surprised by things and scream, and she's so much fun. I don't know. I've always loved her. And it's a beautifully written movie, as all of Billy Wilder's movies are. And yeah, I mean, I really feel to see a major flaw in it, other than not being totally in love with Tyrone Power's performance. So yeah, for me as well, it's like an easy five.
Max, you mentioned Ghosts, and I just want to say I loved your review of the movie Ghosts that I saw in our Discord. Off topic. Back on topic. This movie I really liked. I really liked it. Immediately, I love Charles Lawton's personality. He's a bit mouthy. He's kind of past his prime, and he agrees to take on a case. Leonard Vole, played by Tyrone Power, he's accused of murdering a wealthy woman, Emily French, from Norma Varden, who had left him a large inheritance, which is a big red flag for motive. So Vole is telling Roberts about the night of the murder, and he visits with French. I really like how Charles Lawton as Roberts, he has a monocle, and it kind of reflects on his face. That becomes important, and I think that's a really cool plot device. Marlene Dietrich plays Vol's wife, Christine Helm. She's quite a dubious character and doesn't seem to be keen on proving her husband's innocence. The courtroom scenes are amazing. But like you guys said, I really like the exposition at the beginning as well. Love the interviews they do with the police and other witnesses in the courtroom. I like when they cross-examine this old lady who apparently heard everything, but she doesn't even have a hearing aid. That's a very fun scene. Very thrilling. I love the back and forth between Charles Laughton's character and the prosecutor. The final witness is called, and it's Helm. The witness asks Helm if they lied, and she's like, "I did not tell the truth." And Charles Laughton's like, "Oh, so you lied?" That was pretty funny. Yeah, everything kind of culminates when some damning evidence comes into the fold and a big twist is revealed. And then, wouldn't you know it, another twist is revealed. So, double whammy there. Um, the film excels in its gripping plot, clever use of suspense, and its shocking conclusion. And now it's up there as one of my favorite courtroom dramas. I'm going 5 stars. I think this is much better than Sunset Boulevard, but I can also tell how similar these movies are. But I prefer this one very much.
Very cool. I'm glad we got a score trifecta. Yeah, it's a hard movie not to be pretty crazy about, I think. Like it does just a lot of things right. And I think especially in terms of the writing department, but it's directed very well too, I think. And it looks very nice.
Yeah, I actually like Sunset Boulevard more than this movie, but they're both 5 out of 5s for me, so it's close.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I like this maybe slightly more, but I mean, Sunset Boulevard I think is maybe more of a like an iconic movie in terms of like all the famous lines and stuff like that. And has been, more is more widely, I guess, discussed. But I think I'd rather watch this. But I do love both,
Okay.
unlike Clay.
I think Sunset Boulevard is a little bit more quotable. There's a lot of good one-liners in that movie.
Yeah.
For sure. So anything else you guys want to say before we pack it up this episode?
I think I
And
covered everything. I love this movie.
do we know? Because I mean, we've already done two Billy Wilder movies. Are there any more on the list? Do we
I
have?
think Ace in the Hole and Some Like It Hot are both on the list
Oh,
too.
great. Okay, good. Good.
Like all his like big ones in the 50s.
Yeah.
And we can do a little mini ranking whenever we're done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to watch my favorite movie of his, which is Double Indemnity, because that was in the 40s. But,
Mm.
Yeah.
what can you do?
Or or my favorite because that's The Apartment, which is
Right,
60s.
yeah.
But it's like honorary 50s. I don't know. Movies that came out in 1960 are really 50s movies. Like they're not 60s movies. Um,
No, it's true. Like, decades don't usually start until, like, at least 1 year in, 1 or 2 years in.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially 60s because it's like 60s, I don't know if you could even say that like culturally started until like 64 or 65.
You know,
Um,
Right.
even in terms of movies. Well, all right. Thank you to all of you for watching the episode. Yeah, take care of everybody.
Bye.
bye.